I'd like to welcome everyone to the first somewhat annual reunion. And this group spans the years of 1974, right, to 1983 graduating classes. And we decided it would be really fun to all get together and do a reunion. And what I found out today, I'm Barb Wilson, by the way, and what I found out today was that they've never done a reunion with other choirs where they actually sang. So we're really excited to be singing for you, and we crammed it all in 2 days. So it's a lot of fun, and just remember the key word is fun. Okay? So we have a couple of really special guests today that I'd like to first of all introduce you to. Our guest of honor, Ken Krantz.
Yeah.
We will be talking a little bit more about Ken later. And I'd also like to introduce a special guest from the Manhattan Transfer, Tim Hauser. Tim will be doing a number for us in a little while. And right now, I'd like to introduce as a very special guest, Mr. Frank DeMiro, who's going to say a few words about our esteemed director. Please welcome Frank.
If you don't mind, I'm not going to use this mic. But I first would just like to say that this is amazing, and I just want to congratulate all of you for organizing this and doing this. I think it's a real tribute to a great musician. So I think it's fantastic. I want to tell you a little bit about Ken, and I'll make this quick because why we're here is to hear them sing. But who would have thought that?
Keep talking, Bernie.
Who would have thought that a little Slovenian kid would have become a musician from Bremerton? Okay, but when I first met Ken, he was playing trumpet at West Bremerton High School, and I think he was about a sophomore, junior in high school. I happened to be in the band at Olympic College, which was an incredible band. We were very fortunate. It was a unique situation that for some reason a lot of great players came to Olympic College to play. And my first meeting with him, I'd heard about him quite a bit. I heard about him playing the trumpet and so forth, but the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard had an officers club, and it was a really, really cool place to play. I mean, it was like one of the best places in Bremerton. You know, the officers would be there and guests and so forth, and it was always like a really good room to play. Well, we're in there playing, and so he shows up and just happened to have his horn, you know, with him. And I remember that he got up and played one or two tunes, and we told him to get off of the stand because he was making us look bad. Even at a young age, he was playing really, really well, and he was truly one of the better horn players that came out of Olympic College and Central Washington University. One of the things that happened is that back in the early days of vocal jazz, and talking to Tim here a little bit, a lot of our interests were very much the same around the same years, but there were always these small groups, these quartets and trios that were happening, especially back in the late 40s, throughout the 50s especially, and groups like the Lambert Hendrickson Ross, and we were sharing a group called the Accidentals that really was out of Portland and so forth. There was Anita Kerr Singers and the Four Freshmen, and we could go on and on about those groups. There were these quartets and so forth, but there just weren't any group singers, you know, kind of thing. So truly, one of the areas that people will point at as being the place where vocal jazz got started was right here in the Pacific Northwest, because some of the first vocal groups, school groups, primarily high school groups and community college groups, came out of this greater Pacific Northwest area. To get the music for those groups, that was a real trick in those days. And Ken, who did not a lot of writing and so forth, and it took he was one of his majors, he was truly one of the first published vocal jazz arrangers and composers. not only arrangers, but composers. And he was actually writing original things for groups that were unique in that that's what helped the group sound really start developing. And one of the things that, I don't know if you guys know this, but the first high school group to perform at a Jazz Educators Conference in the United States was Del Sonics. You guys know that? They was in Chicago.
Yes.
And were there. Ken, I think he turned in Manhattan Transfer Recording or something, and he was able to get the group in there. So I could tell you a lot of funny stories because there are hundreds of them that exist between the two of us. The one that I will tell you, and I'll tell you that this one got me in more trouble than you could ever imagine. But Ken knows that I have one serious problem, probably more than that, but one that bothers me, is if I get laughing, I'm absolutely done. If I start laughing, I'm done. I'll just keep laughing for about, it takes me about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'm finally just sore. I can't laugh anymore. We were doing a festival up in Marysville. Maybe some of you were there, I don't know. But a group got up and performed, and it truly was fall into that area of unique. A group that I've never heard. They were not one of the groups that were competing or anything. They were a group from the, I won't say the town, but it was from a town, and it was the so-and-so business college in this town, okay? Like the Gorse Business College or something. And they asked to perform, and where we got a clue to think we're going to go a little bit sideways here is they did My Funny Valentine, and during this song with the two bass drums, sticks that glowed, drum solo during My Funny Valentine. And I'm stunned. I'm just sitting there and I'm going, whoa, I mean, this is really... So all of a sudden this little note like this slides, he's sitting on this side, which is not a good side for me because that's my good eyesight, all right? And this note slides over to me, and he said, I won't share the whole note. He said something like, if they had one more drum, this group would be perfect. That did it for me. I started laughing, and then, there would be another note or two that would be set my way. I just remember, I am not joking, I was under the table, kids were getting water for me, they were all being very kind. But Ken has this unique ability to make people around him laugh, and then he has that face. Right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, one thing that you already know, but I'll just remind the folks that are here, is that in this world, the thing that we really need to do is have these kinds of things. This is caused because there was an exemplary opportunity for you at that high school. And that opportunity, basically, in the neatest, kindest, yet most demanding way, nurtured your best. It said, you've got to be your best when you go out and perform. And so when you did it, you were classy, you performed great music, you did it in such a way that it inspired other groups, other directors to do their very best. And in order to have that, you have to have an exemplary teacher. And they can do all they want. They can say all they want about all of these new creative techniques as far as educating. We're going to change the schedule. That's going to really fix it. We're going to have block scheduling now. We're going to change. We're going to have small schools. All of these so-called unique ways of developing better education. Truthfully, all of that is a waste of money. What it really comes down to is the teachers. You have to have the very, very best teachers. And when you do, then you end up with people like this who are, they understand the importance of music in our lives and what that all really positively helps. So anyway, I want you to know that I'm inspired by the fact that you're all here. And you are so fortunate to have this guy as part of your life. And I hope that every so many years or whatever, hope that you definitely have more of these. God bless you.